welcome to PERINO with 2 exclamation points. As the queen of mid-morning, I'm thrilled to be hosting tonight, especially since this is obviously way past my bedtime. We begin the way all great Fox News shows begin, with a Fox News alert. We are reporting tonight on a missing person. 79-year-old Caucasian male identifies as who and huh? Occasionally calls others Jack. Last seen in Delaware, Kiowa Island, or maybe the basement. Wearing khakis, a button-down, dark aviators, and a mask dangling off his ear. And carrying the nuclear football. He answers to the name of the comeback kid. And the big guy, a.k.a. your president, Joe Biden. He also goes by Scranton Joe or Brandon. If you really wanted his attention, just say, hey, who wants some ice cream? And he'll come wandering around to your door. The media is searching for him high and low, mostly low because he falls a lot. Strange, right? Considering just last week they told us that after a string of big wins, the president was on a roll, that his stretch of bad luck was behind him, that his poll numbers had hit rock bottom. And like a line of Parmesan cheese under Hunter's nose, there was nowhere to go but up. And that the Inflation Reduction Act was going to turn his presidency right around. I guess when your EKG flatlines twice a week, anything looks like a comeback. Look at these headlines right here. And this isn't new for them. They've been hyping this all of August. Watch this.
Yeah, don't look now, people, but all of a sudden, Sleepy Joe has himself a pretty fat stack of accomplishments.
This is a big dang on deal. It is a big deal.
This is huge, and I don't think people understand how big this is.
This has been an extraordinarily successful 2 years legislatively.
Big victory at the White House.
Yeah, it's such a big win for President Biden. He's actually interrupting his vacation and flying back to the White House today just for this bill signing.
Really big deal. Well, the Inflation Reduction Act, it's in the books, and it's a book that no one is buying, like The Plus by Greg Gutfeld. And no one is buying that it will reduce inflation. The shamelessness from this White House. If we can just change the name of a recession, if we can just convince them that despite the record high gas prices they're paying, inflation is actually 0%, we'll be fine. Well, the bill will raise taxes on people making as little as $10,000 a year in order to buy electric cars for families making $300,000. And the media just clapped along and wrote their obedient comeback kid stories. I can't wait for the sequel, Return to the Basement. So Brian Stelter is still clapping, but now in his own basement. You know, between sobs and bites of DoorDash. He's already eaten 3 drivers. Speaking of eating, families are paying the highest prices in 40 years, and groceries and food, it's so expensive. And Biden is forgiving the student loan debt of soon-to-be wealthy doctors and lawyers. Maybe it's because he's got plenty of both. And these are all symptoms of the same problem. The Latinx breakfast tacos, the gender issues, the paper straws, the border buses dropping off migrants at a 4-star, $700 a night hotel in New York City. It's permeating all across our nation, like monkeypox, sinking into our daily lives like an unsightly stain on America's national tablecloth. Democrats have let their narrowest segment of activists take leadership control of the party, and the Democrats have modeled their agenda after it. Their focus went from USA to AOC within 2 years. And that's my beef with all the Biden comeback stories. Democrats joining other Democrats to pass a bill to spend money doubling the size of the IRS and giving money to green energy companies, that's not an accomplishment, and it doesn't do anything for the 93% of Americans who are concerned about inflation. But that's Democrats' base now. Between 7 and 20% of the country that agrees on the furthest left nonsense, and the media that treats those kind of deals like they're solving a climate crisis that they're not really impacting at all. Pointless policy designed by the far left and then cheered on and validated by the far left. It's just another Dem self-licking ice cream cone. So when the media inevitably sends reporters to truck stops and diners in middle America this fall to see how they got so much of the midterms wrong, the Democrats should consider sending a few staffers too. Now, don't worry, staffers, you won't get hurt. Triggered, maybe. But that's exactly what you need. Have you seen that meme of the pawn shop star guys saying, well, the best I can do is? People are like, hey, we have the worst inflation in 40 years. Gas prices are $2 higher than they should be. The border is a mess. We're worried about Ukraine, Taiwan, and the Middle East. Our kids have been out of school for 2 years and are facing genuine challenges. And the left is like, well, best we can do is electric car tax credits, 87,000 more IRS agents, illegal student loan debt cancellation for Harvard lawyers, and a seminar on identifying as Latinx. Oh, and by the way, I'm two-spirited, so if you criticize me, the other spirit will report you to Human Resources. And the poll results are in. No bump for the comeback kid, more like the dead cat bounce kid. Still, the media tries to put a good spin on things. Here's Reuters. Biden approval rises to 41%, highest since early June. Biden approval rises to 40%, highest in 2 months. That's like saying your horse finished last, but hey, at least he finished. If a surgeon bragged he had a 41% approval rate, you'd take your operation elsewhere, even to Dr. Jill. No matter what they try, though, these are the numbers that will keep the comeback kid from getting too far, like the shot collar they put in his underpants. From the latest NBC poll, 74% say the U.S. is headed in the wrong direction. What a comeback, huh? Best since Bill de Blasio's run for Congress. The last time we saw this much disapproval, Jerry Lee Lewis married his cousin. We'll explain it later, Kat. But the sour mood is not just coming from Republicans, and despite the big comeback pronouncements, several Democrats, they are now distancing from the president.
It's Washington's fault. They set the rules, weakened our supply chain, and spiked inflation.
So when Obama's trade deal threatened jobs here, I voted against it. And I voted with Trump on trade. I don't answer to any political party.
I was the only Democrat to vote against trillions of dollars of President Biden's agenda.
I stood up to summon my own party and pushed to cut the gas tax and to hire more police officers.
I learned about public service in New Hampshire, not Washington.
And others are finding reasons to wash their hair on Saturday night when they hear Biden is coming to town, which only makes them want to sniff it more. It's the least popular tour since Gutfeld joined the Chippendales. The comeback kid stories were already written in the can. The media loves that storyline when it's being said about a Democrat. What say you, Joe?
No, I don't need any comeback. What are you talking about? I'm here, man. I don't need a comeback. I do things nobody else does. Did you ever try falling up a flight of stairs? Yeah. How about falling off a bike that's not moving? Try it. Doom. I got you, man. You know, I recovered from COVID like 40 times now. I feel great. Come on, man. Yeah, we come back. You talking to me? Come back. You talking to me? That's an honest question, because if you're not talking to me, I'm talking to myself. And I don't do that, Jack!
It's like the New York Times, who has pre-written obituaries so they can be the first to have 2,000 words on Keith Richards when he passes away. It's like he made a deal with Satan. You'll live forever, but you'll look dead the entire time. It's interesting, though, that maybe what the media didn't realize is that the comeback kid story actually is an obituary at the White House. It's where good common sense policy has gone to die. In lieu of donations, send your taxes. And it leaves all of the rest of us in mourning, but just for 2 more years.